everyone's talking about Obsidian and a second brain, even myself. I talk about using Obsidian as a second brain all the time, where you get cool stuff like data graphs and charts like this, and you're able to bring in, your terminal and process everything. And I show tons of cool things that you can be doing with this in terms of automations, and then bringing in your knowledge, and then having it digested from YouTube videos and all this other kind of cool stuff. One big thing I noticed as I run operator and brand owner AI education and training monthly cohorts is the biggest thing when I try to integrate this system right here with anyone on a PC or Windows computer, Obsidian fails. Obsidian fails because bringing in the terminal inside of Obsidian, which is what I'm doing right here on a Mac, works perfectly fine on a Mac, but it fails 9 times out of 10 with a PC because of PowerShell, because of all these different things. And it just gets really, really frustrating, because then it takes the allure and the streamline efficiency out of it, because then they have to have Obsidian open and have PowerShell open separately, and it's different windows, and it just kind of kills the flow. So I went to my system, and as you can see, I'm tripling down on Grok 4.5 because it's a complete animal. And hey, just if I show this right here really quickly, I've been blasting away at Grok for the past day and a half since my reset, and I'm only at 5% of my limit. So it's amazing. But anyway, the point here is that I needed to find a solution for more agnostic and generalized for Mac or PC, but mainly the PC. And what I had Grok do was like, hey, what alternatives can we do with this? And funny enough, it brought up VS Code. Now, I know a lot of people are using VS Code for coding, for this, for that, for just vibe coding, everything like that. But the same exact structure falls in line for the second brain. So the only thing that's really missing, which is the biggest kind of, how can I say this, perk, was Obsidian has an Obsidian Chrome extension clipper where you can just click on it and bring in any YouTube video, anything like that, and it brings it right into the inbox to be processed. So we can't use those extensions with VS Code, but the great thing about using it in VS Code is that it works just the same on Windows, just the same on Mac. The only thing that we lose is that functionality, and also the data view. So you're not getting that fancy data view and all that kind of stuff. But if that's not important to you and you're just concerned about a system that's going to work, then it doesn't matter, right? So you could see here, I went and sent myself an email to my process, which is just adding a plus sign after my email, and then that automatically gets tagged and brings in the vault. So you can see over here, I brought in a email from Foot Locker talking about the Jordan retros that are going to be announced soon, and I went and had the system go ahead and make me under here a sneaker section. So it has a sneakers hub over here, same thing, just like in Obsidian, right? The whole system is exactly the same. I didn't even have to redo it. I just brought that GitHub right over here, and I'm viewing my files and folders in a different way. So inbox still works right here. All the automations, so like inbox triage. So this is what's happening. Anything that's in my inbox overnight, it's getting processed. One cool thing too is someone asked me on a coaching call yesterday, they had said, oh, when I do the inbox triage where I send an email and then the system picks it up in the inbox over here for attachments, will it actually bring in the attachments? And here's a great example of how it actually did do that, right? So it took this email for Market Masters, which I'm actually going to be speaking at in a workshop later this month. And it knew that under events and projects over here, that this is putting it right under Market Masters over here and adding the proper attachments. So we have these inside of here without having to manually do it. So it's a really good way to just forward stuff from your email. So whether you're using stuff like online and grabbing it, or you just want to forward your email over, you can forward as many emails as you want, and the system is going to pick it up in the inbox, and then every night it's going to triage and then move everything where it needs to move. So you don't have to file the information away. So if I go over here and I just clear this out, I can go to, a YouTube video. So I'll go to like any YouTube video, right? So let's say Stephen Robles, which I really like, all his iOS shortcut stuff. I could just say capture this So this is what I'm doing instead of the Obsidian Web Clipper. So it's just this step, right, of just capture this video. So now it's going to get that video, pull the whole transcript in, pull everything inside of here, and then drop it in the inbox. So I have the same thing I would have in Obsidian with the full transcript, all this kind of stuff, and then the source link and everything over here. And then at the end of the night, my automation will kick off and it'll process this. So I can manually do it, manually process the inbox sweep on this, make sure to use Gobble and Skillify. So I'm manually doing it. So it'll ask me for approval, but on the automation version, it doesn't need that kind of thing. It just thinks for itself because it knows that I'm not the one doing it. So I can't give approval for something if I'm not at the computer. So I'm just showing it here in VS Code because what happens with this is the exact same way I would do this in Obsidian, but it's just another way to leverage when you have files and folders. It doesn't matter the tool that you're using. You're always viewing them in something else. The system is the system is the system. So it doesn't matter, once you have that foundation, it doesn't matter where you put it. I can open this up in Cursor, I guess, if I wanted to, right? Or even like Anti-Gravity's IDE. But for this, I'm using VS Code, and you can see over here, it's pulling this. So it's going to go and look in the knowledge base over here that I have. And I probably don't have anything for iOS shortcuts. So the system's good enough that it'll make that and then check to see for any skills to put in, potential skills. So something like this, like Stephen Robles' video, he talks a lot about iOS shortcuts and Shortcuts app, and they're really cool. But then he'll also give them away in a link. But my Skillify, we'll see if I can make a skill in Grok or Claude to use to do anything that he talked about in the video. So it's another good way to kind of capture information that's not front-facing and directly given to you. Think about like master classes or really long like tutorials. They're not going to give you the keys to the city, but they might talk for an hour and a half about how to do it. So it looks like I put it under AI business, which is interesting. So he was talking about a task app about vibe coding. That's why. So you can see over here now, Stephen Robles can do the task app I always wanted. So he shipped a new app. Here's some key points about it, what he built, the build method, known limits, teaching OI angle, right? So this is going to talk about how I can use this for me in my business, and it links back to other things over here. So you can see that, still doing that process. Any quotes, and then it's still going to do the related over here. So typically in Obsidian, those would be the clickable links, but they're just not clickable. That's the only thing, but the AI tool will still know that, and then it's going to have this over here. So updated this, and then what is this one? Oh, mentioned, I guess this one was like kind of referred to. Okay, cool. So then the blueprint for scratch your own itch app spec. So now over here inside of potential skills, so we have scratch your own itch app spec. So turn a multi-purpose personal workflow into a shippable app. So actually, based on what he said and what he did, there's a potential skill inside of here that I can go and review it. And if I want to make it, I can say, hey, turn this into a skill and do it. So you can see from one piece of content, I'm able to get education, knowledge, and then also the potential skills. So again, just wanted to share this as a cool way. You don't have to drink the Kool-Aid on Obsidian if you don't want to. You could use the same process in VS Code. And I think it's interesting here to see that if I was running Obsidian, for whatever reason, it would take a ton of memory, a RAM usage. But in terms of what VS Code is doing right now, go Virtual Studio Code. I don't even know what it's called under, but it's not enough to even really, it might be this one right here, but that's still less than what Obsidian would be. Sometimes it pushes like almost 3 gigs when I'm using it. But yeah, just if you have the system, files over folders, doesn't matter the app you're using it in. But let me know what you guys think.